No, I'm just kidding. Welcome to the CanesInSight Daily Podcast, powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. It is Wednesday, my favorite day of the week until Friday when Louisville gets stomped. I am here with the one and only Mike Ryan. The M stands for Mariners. And yeah, man, we're about to have some fun. How you feeling? You feeling good about the series? You guys in firm control?
Oh, total control. Locked in, as you know. How many games are in a season now? All 162? Do they do that? 162? You know me. I've been waiting for this moment for 40 years. I know a good bandwagon when I see one. But I was all over the Mariners last year, and I got to be honest with you, I kind of lost touch with them. I was a year early. But I stayed in the Mariners group chat, and now, lo and behold, they're good. So it's been a pretty good year in terms of my teams having success. Go Cats, running the sport. The Hurricanes are looking good. Now I may just take over baseball. But yeah, I'm locked in. We got the great GK on the mound today, toeing the slab. I feel really good about the Mariners. And sets up a pretty good World Series. I mean, you were recently in Japan, D-Money. I can't imagine a bigger World Series for Japan than Mariners-Dodgers.
I already predicted the Mariners-Dodgers on the Big League show, which we record right here in this studio with my partner, Adrian Lorenzo. If you're a baseball fan, check it out, Big League show on YouTube. Predicted this World Series. We're not there yet. But we're careening towards that Seattle-Los Angeles Dodgers World Series. Two great pitching staffs. Dodgers finally healthy. But you're here to talk about the Canes and potentially some wrestling, although the chat is currently in a debate where I'm seeing Hitler referenced. Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of political rancor in the chat this morning. They're fired up.
I think conservatives coined the phrase snowflake anytime the mere presence of a progressive shocked them. I think people need to broaden their horizons. I make it work, folks. Anyways, let's talk about Louisville, the big important opponent this week. Probably Miami's most difficult opponent left on their schedule. This is a team that owns the most recent victory by an opponent at Hard Rock Stadium. It's been that long. We were all there that game. And let me just say, all the respect in the world for Coach Braum and Louisville. He has known how to attack Mario Cristobal teams. This is a 13.5-point spread. Miami, a hefty favorite here. Friday nights inside the ACC, D-Money can get a little spooky. I think this is a very talented Louisville team. They have a pro wide receiver, an eventual pro at running back, one that we like, a local kid out of Homestead, a quarterback that has played in plenty of big games, and a head coach that we know can scheme a game plan against these Miami Hurricanes. Now, it looks a little different on the defensive side for Miami than it has in years previous, but this opponent is not one to look over. Louisville has had much more success inside the ACC than our Miami Hurricanes had. And I think Miami's in for a nice little test here, especially after a bye week historically. I know that we just took care of business against FSU coming off a bye, but historically these bye weeks haven't been Miami's friend. So what is your takeaway, macro treetop view of this upcoming opponent?
I'm locked in. So, this morning while my kids were getting ready, it was crazy hair day. So my wife was trying to make breakfast. It was really?
Yeah, my daughter's school as well.
A lot of crazy hairs. I guess it's a national deal. So my wife was getting the kids ready, getting their hair crazy, making breakfast, preparing some graphs. I was locked in on ACC condensed games for Louisville, checking out what's going on that offensive and defensive line. And I was a little spooked. I am not even a little bit spooked at the moment. More like a Lindsay Lohan Freaky Friday situation than a true spook. There's some spooky elements, but ultimately should be a fun comedic day on Friday. Really, Louisville's offensive line to me is, and I'm not saying this because they're a rival, because they're not a rival. So it's not like it's FSU or UF. Their offensive line is the worst I've seen since we started this season. Bethune, okay.
But we'll put them in a different class. Yeah.
But as far as FBS, the worst offensive line I've seen. Defensive line better, but still a little small and can get run on, a lot of holes on defense. Now, on the positive side for Louisville, what you got to worry about, Chris Bell, wide receiver number 0. Me and Pete have talked about him. Oh, wait, where's Pete?
Pete, hop in.
How we doing?
Good evening.
Hey, Bright Eyes.
How we doing?
I'm doing better now that I'm seeing you, pal.
Do I sound okay, everyone?
Hey, I don't know. I can't tell from what the internet says. They seem to be all sorts of bothered right now by everything.
No, they're really talking about sports is on the beach watching CanesInSight. He's saying, is this heaven? Maybe. But yeah.
Great album by Huey Lewis and the News, by the way.
Sports. Pete. Chris Bell, we did a video on him for Group Chat Sports. If you want national coverage, check out Group Chat Sports, YouTube, me and Pete, and the one and only Think. But Chris Bell, I know you guys did a video on him. I watched basically every snap he's taken this morning at this season. The guy is probably the best receiver that we've faced this year. Maybe the best player along with Jeremiah Love. I mean, he looks to me like a first-round type receiver this season.
Yeah, and they're force-feeding him the ball. I mean, he's had double-digit receptions the last 2 weeks in ACC games. I think you said it this morning, but once he gets going, he's a load to bring down. I compared him body type-wise to A.J. Brown. So obviously that's high praise, but yeah, it looks like he's going to be the first or second type receiver taken off the board, D. And I mean, you know how receivers are drafted now. It seems like he's a pretty surefire pick to be a first rounder.
Yeah. And I mean, this is not the best wide receiver group as far as the draft eligible guys. Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, Malachi Toney, some good underclassmen that aren't eligible. But in terms of you talk Tyson from Arizona State is going to be one of those guys. Carnell Tate from Ohio State. Maybe Jerry Bernard from Alabama. But to me, this guy, Bell, Mike, 6'2", 220. He's a sprinter. Really almost a no-star player early on. He was very much a low recruit at Louisville. They find guys like this. He's as big and powerful as Deuce Robinson, but to me, he's got a little more speed. So, challenge for these corners that haven't been challenged a ton this year.
So I think Miami ended up doing a good job on Deuce Robinson. However, that game got a little weird in that fourth quarter. So if we can glean something from it, if we want to overreact to that fourth quarter, let's just do that for a moment. A big physical receiver, probably built the way that Bell is the type of receiver that would give Miami problems. I think Miami is going to have their secondary depth tested in this game a little bit as well. So, look, we've seen Brahms' offense move the ball on Miami. This is all about what Friday will be interesting to see. We know the strides that this defense has made, many calling it the best defense in the land. All right, we know how this coach has really gotten under Mario Cristobal's team's skin. Let's see how prepared we are for a different set of skills on the opposing lines. I understand the note about the offensive line. That obviously plays into Miami's hands. We can force him to the right. He likes to go to the right. Guess who's waiting there for him on the right? So this could potentially be a big Ruben Bain for Heisman type of campaign game, given the standalone TV window. I just know this conference, and I know the ebbs and flows of the season. We all feel I share your confidence in that. I think Miami is going to win this game. But Miami has been tested a couple of times this season, even though in these games, Pete, as we've mentioned several times, they've been in control of these games. I heard your show earlier this morning. Found it very informative, really good stuff. If you guys want to check the podcast feed and hear from some of our boosters, I still think you were saying OrchidMan the entire time.
ORCHID
man. But look, you look at the landscape of college football.
Speaking of landscaping.
That's right. The landscape artisan, the OrchidMan. But go ahead.
You look at the landscape of college football, and there's been a lot of parity, some funky results. Is there a team in the nation that you look at that you say definitively this team will go undefeated? I don't know. I'm still in the group of people that thinks that there isn't going to be a team that runs the table. That being said, if you look at the odds, they back this up. The team that is most likely to go undefeated, in part because of the conference they play in, is the Miami Hurricanes. I just think a Friday can be spooky. A lot of rat poison, a really good coach, talented enough people on offense to overcome some of the deficiencies on the line. I do think Miami is in store for a bit of a battle here. After all, this is a trophy game, D-Money.
So what is the trophy? It's the boots.
The battle for the boots. It's Howard Schnellenberger's boots. Now, I think, as the commenters are alluding to every time I hop on a Wednesday show, there's been a societal shift, folks. I understand we've taken the pipe away from Sebastian's mouth. Everyone knows smoking is bad. I'm not breaking news to anybody. The trophy shouldn't be for boots. It should be for a pipe. When you think of Howard Schnellenberger, no one thinks boots. I hate to say it. No one thinks boots. In fact, when you think about the connection between Miami and Louisville, you're not even thinking Schnellenberger first. You're thinking Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali first. Should have been boxing gloves. Now, I'm a big fan of the trophies that one can wear. Red River, we see this. It's always funny. Charlie Strong, a lasting image, wearing a golden cowboy hat. Can't put those boots on. I would love for Mario Cristobal to set the tone at Green Tree and stroll out onto that practice field wearing the boots that he earned last year. But it's not practical. A pipe, very practical. Think of the photo ops. It should be a pipe.
That's the problem, I think, is for a fact that you're going to have people hitting that pipe on Instagram. It will look similar to perhaps a bowl. The kids call a bowl. And
let's stop being so scared.
Let's
stop being so scared.
Dashville says the pipe is iconic. Cloudfleet's smoking Big Chiba right now as we speak, listening to the CanesInSight podcast, brought to you by BUZZN. 7.5 milligrams of THC with drinkbuzzn.com. That's drinkbuzzn.com. I was going to bring some to the studio, but I went to the scrimmage first, and it's Miami, so this would have been like a hot coffee by the time we got in here. A nice drip coffee. But BUZZN THC, 7.5 milligrams, real THC. Choose your chill. All hang, no hangover. All bubbles, no troubles. Social THC magic, lab tested, real fruit juices, bubbles with benefit. These guys had so many slogans in one just page. You should have spread these out. There's so many good ones. Whoever,
it's like the CanesInSight YouTube page, right?
Seriously, Pete's the clickbait artist of all time. I gotta say, Pete, let's take a look at the YouTube page. I want to go over some of your clickbait because
we should do a segment like explaining.
Yeah,
the clickbait.
I don't like to always go behind the curtain with the artist. Sometimes you let the art speak for itself. It kind of kills it when you hear the artist talk about the art. But in this case, we're so privileged to have you here. I just have to hear about some of these. So just some personal favorites. This recent one right here. Live dog. Let's see here. Let's see the thumbnail.
There you go. There you
go. Let's go. Live dog will hunt.
That was a live dog before.
But look at that. You got Mario's face and the pit bull matching. And then the sign of the bad dog also matching. So Pete, you used 3 images that sort of reflect each other to express the feeling of important defensive line recruiting. So take me through this work.
So the interesting thing about this one is we use this photo a lot of Mario. It's one of my go-tos when I go into the thumbnail bank there. But it hit me. He looked like a dog. I talked a lot about dog breeding in recent episodes.
You have.
You might have to sift through the archives to find.
I'm with you on
one.
bulldogs.
Those French bulldogs, man.
Yeah, the French ones. They breathe that way. It's not right.
I feel bad for them. There's someone one of you guys is breathing like that right now on the mic. I'm trying to figure out
me just holding back my laughter. Go ahead, continue.
Anyways, I said he looks like a dog. I know pit bulls are dangerous. Have interacted once or twice with one, and I said pit bull in the clip art section. I didn't have to go to Google, and that darn pit bull looks like Mario. It looks just like him. And let me tell you, I will be going back to this one. I will definitely be going back to this one. He's a live dog right now. That thing's on the loose. He's on the hunt, and he's looking to go flip some 5 stars.
Frantic. And then the picture the
frantic push. A good frantic push sometimes can get you over the top. And I think that's what's happening right now on the recruiting trail.
So that was an instant classic for me. Best news ever with Dana White. What I like here
made some news. That is the network of folks associated with CanesInSight. That is the network coming together because Steve Kim asked the question and Pete slapped CanesInSight branding all over that puppy.
Well, let me tell you, I also gave proper credit to the 3 Knockdown Rule podcast.
We appreciated that.
And Canes Connection, which is what it was all about. Very good Canes Connection branding. I see Dana White here holding. Was he holding that box in the actual press conference and you put in the logo, or did you add the entire box with the Canes Connection?
So he was holding the key to the city.
Yeah, there's creative liberties
but
there.
But now he's holding the key to the Canes NIL.
Let's go, baby.
You know,
let's go. So last one as we go behind the clickbait. This one I got a ton of text about. So our boy Coach Duaso, right? First of all, you see double Mario, which you don't always do.
Triple. Look, there's actually behind the one on the left, there's actually the shade of Mario. So you got triple Mario.
Triple Mario. Bomb dropped. Then you have a picture of Coach Duaso, 7-on-7 coach to the Stars. And local shot caller drops truth bomb about Miami's recruiting. So my first question, before we get into the bomb dropping, is what does it take to be defined as a shot caller? How does one become a shot caller? What's the criteria to reach that status?
And I told you this offline, D. I was really wondering before we even get to that, would this have done as well if the shot caller wasn't local? Because does it matter if there could be you could just call someone a shot caller, but if he's not local, what does it matter to this recruiting situation that we're in right here?
Very true.
So the fact that it was a local, now shot caller, points here, points there. He's getting things done, and that is what this individual is doing. You know, you got it, and then look at him with the hood. It adds the mysterious element, that layer of mystery to the individual you're talking about here, which of course is Big Papa Duaso. Now, my favorite part about this entire bait of click in this case is what's the truth bomb? You got a 45-minute video there. There's a lot of truth bombs, but I will say that the part that really stood out to me as being the revelation of the entire thing was his comparison of a 15-year-old DB to Jalen Ramsey.
Yep. That was a bomb that was truthful. He would know. He would know. This is the man who coached Dallas Wilson, Malachi Tony, Bryce Fitzgerald, #1 from Missouri. I always mess up the pronunciation of his name. KJ Duff, guys all making plays on Saturdays. So shout out to the local shot caller, and shout out to you, Pete, for really taking your art to another level here.
I will say the one that has done fantastic here is the one that changes everything, and that is Lenore Sellers, potentially speculation, tampering. Let's go, man. Let's keep tampering, and more things will continue to change.
Quote.
The boom, the boom graphic. Did you just write boom into clip art?
Boom right into Canva, and let me tell you, I would have just gone with a normal red boom. I could have just typed boom with a little bit of changing of the font. But they gave me the little animation in the background, the yellow, the white. I don't know if that's smoke or if that's a dynamite popping explosion.
Yeah, that's emotion to it.
It was a good one. It was a good one.
What was the seller's scoop?
No scoop at all. D Money actually just said, maybe he's struggling this year and needs a change of situation.
Oh, you just threw his name out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
All right. So hard-hitting journalism here.
There might be more to that.
Oh, get 2 booms on this one, Pete.
Boom.
Pete, let the juices flow. How we're going to talk about this. Might be more to that per insider Mike Ryan, the man who broke Lionel?
Yeah, whatever.
Messi to Miami, the man who broke Cristobal to Miami. Might be a little more to that than just your average boom for Lenore Sellers.
Yeah, look, just because someone doesn't make it into the portal doesn't mean they don't have people making calls. And there were a lot of quarterbacks making calls, poking around, seeing if there was a marketplace. And it's something that, quite honestly, a governing body needs to address at some point. But that is the lay of the land now. But to hear that name, let's just say it's not a surprise.
Playing Time says we could do better. Appreciate your support. We can do better than Sellers. Man, I think Sellers is awesome.
It kind of feels a little bit like the Carson Beck thing last year, which was like, we could do better than Beck. Really? Can you? I got a whole thing on Carson Beck.
Oh, let's get it.
I'm getting a little pissed off
Give
at
us
Carson
the whole
Beck.
thing.
I'm getting a little pissed off at the Carson Beck coverage. Ty Simpson, people want to crown him Heisman now. Let's just look at common opponents with Ty Simpson. Why do we do this every year with Alabama? And it's not even like, that was months ago. They're a different team now. We did this last year. They were 13 days removed from losing to a pathetic Oklahoma team, and people were still talking about them in the college football playoff. They got their asses kicked by FSU. Ty Simpson looked bad. Ty Simpson is a better Heisman candidate than Carson Beck. Why? I guarantee you, if Carson Beck's name was Rocco Becht, he'd be the favorite for Heisman right now. People have made their mind up about this young man. Look, the Georgia propaganda machine is strong. You ask a Georgia fan, they'll lie to you and tell you that they're happy. Meanwhile, they know in these games there is a talent deficiency there that wasn't there before. They used to stroll into these games with the top 3 SEC quarterback, and now they're looking at a guy that's mid-tier. All right? Carson Beck, for be it the Cavender thing, be it how he left Georgia, be his face. It might be his face. There is just something about Carson Beck that people have decided they don't like. And look, the benefactor of all this may actually be Ruben Bain. We may actually have a year where people vote for legitimately the best, most outstanding player in the nation in Ruben Bain. But there are two people right now, presently, that if we were sending people to New York City for the Heisman ceremony, they are two deserving people on this Miami roster right now. Who's the quarterback that's playing better than Carson Beck? Who's it? When you look at the opponents, name the quarterback that's played. Like, you want to tell me Marcel Reed? I will hear you. Marcel Reed actually has a common opponents and is one of the few quarterbacks that can look at that Florida defense and say, I might have outplayed Carson Beck. We want to hold a month-long monsoon in Miami against Carson Beck. Carson Beck showed you exactly who he is against Florida State. He showed you. Like, that's not the game plan. He doesn't care about winning Heismans. He cares about winning football games. He is the best quarterback in America right now. And usually the best quarterback in America gets on a flight to New York City for that ceremony. I don't care that he has another candidate on the other side of the ball on the same team. Send them both up there. I don't know what's going on with Carson Beck. This one's weird.
Mo Hussein, Pack the Rock Friday night, fam. Let's go. Appreciate you as always. So we got 2 booms for that one. Pete, first of all, outstanding. Number 2, you just heard national podcaster talking about monsoon in Miami, Carson Beck. There's a lot going on there. You can craft that one into some bait.
Let me get in the lab. I gotta sit with the thoughts a little bit, but I will. I can do just that.
Well, on Carson Beck for Heisman, Mike, I think the best thing about his campaign is he might not have the breakout game going forward as far as like you play a Ohio State Michigan game at the end of the year and you win it like that. However,
his best, most marquee opponents are behind him, unfortunately.
But he won. He didn't play bad in any of those games, really. I mean, UF, he could have done better. It's not like he was terrible against UF. So, like, it's not like you go back and look at the resume and you say those games hurt him. And then they actually give legitimacy to him as far as, okay, he could beat good teams. Because then what I think is going to happen now is every ACC team pretty much here on out is dealing with FSU's dilemma, which is they're not physically capable of holding up to Miami's running game. Miami's running game is too powerful, too big, too conservative, so you can't really like just beat it with smoke and mirrors. They're tight in their splits. It's not like you can just get in the backfield and trick them that way. They're going to just run right through you with size and power. And then
so you have to commit extra bodies to it.
That's what you have to do. FSU did that. FSU, people talk about Miami's running game against FSU. That battle was won before the game started because FSU was screaming upfield with their safeties because they knew they could not stop Miami's running game straight up. As a result, you saw Carson Beck, which we predicted on the show and you predicted on this show, would be player of the game, bombs away, dealing with that type of defense. So I don't see any front in the ACC any better than FSU from a body type standpoint. Not that FSU is good, FSU is bad, but ACC, this is a bad conference in terms of blue chip body types. When you look at the 247, 4-star, 5-star defensive line list, a lot of SEC schools, a lot of Big Ten schools, the only ACC school really in that mix, Miami. So I think every ACC school is going to have to play us the same way, including Louisville this weekend. Louisville. And Beck will have the opportunity to do what he's done to ACC teams his entire career, which is completely annihilate them. I mean, he went against Georgia Tech, lit him up. NC State lit him up. Clemson lit him up. He kills the ACC. Of course, Florida State, first ACC game this season, complete domination. What do you see from Beck kind of in the slate going forward?
I'm right there with you. I think that teams are going to pick their poison and they're going to make Carson Beck beat them. And I can guarantee you none of these defensive coordinators are thrilled about that. But yeah, the body types and the personnel that can play Miami straight up, that seems like something from the past at this point when we look at the calendar now and what's ahead of Miami. I do think while everyone's looking for a reason, we saw people crown John Mateer. John Mateer toughed it out, found a way to hurt his chances by playing that game, playing hurt. Unfortunate for the young man because I am a big fan of John Mateer. The Ty Simpson thing is confusing, but this might just be a Bama thing. I think if Miami gets to where they are favored to get to right now, which is Charlotte, ACC championship, nobody has better odds to run the table than the Miami Hurricanes right now. So let's paint out that hypothetical while still respecting the opponent in Coach Brom's Louisville team. If Miami gets to that point, I find it very hard to believe that Carson Beck will be held out of a Heisman ceremony. You have a starting quarterback who is a star, for an undefeated Miami team, I just find it really hard to believe, especially when he's going to have the numbers that back that up. As D-Money laid out, he's going to have more opportunities here to stack those odds up. But it's just something that kind of bothers me. And it's always been the narrative around Carson Beck. I understand why. And this is also me attributing a growth to the young man that most people probably aren't aware of, a maturity. He is a different dude than he was in Georgia. He's a different player right now. But I think it's a great story. He's rebuilt himself between the years. He had to rebuild his arm. And he's going to have these moments where he's going to throw absolute dots all over the field because he has that arm talent. The zip conversation went away. So I'm a big Carson Beck guy. I think he's made for the pros too. And I think that his stock will just climb week after week after week, even though people seem to be grasping at straws for reasons not to like the young man.
Couple things on Beck. First of all, I agree with you on Beck and what he brings to the table, but I'm looking at the schedule and we got 7 games left plus the ACC championship. If we get there, hopefully we will. Let's say he wins out, which he'll be favored by 10 plus in every game. Maybe not the championship, but I think that's a possibility. If he is able to win out, he will be 37-3 as a starting quarterback in college football. 37-3 by the time that Heisman ceremony comes around. And I guarantee you that narrative will pick up, assuming he wins out. The other thing about the schedule going forward I've thought about is, man, if this stupid playoff didn't exist and it was 4 teams at most, or preferably the old school style, Miami would be in the championship already. Yeah. we'd be like just like celebrating every day like it was, New Year's. So it's unfortunate.
I don't know. I feel like I'm with you. I don't like the 12 team, but I still think you needed more than 4. I like, not to go down this whole debate, D, but I like 6, the top 2 teams getting buys, like the teams that would have been in the old system, just walking straight into the national championship game. Give those teams buys. You have a Final Four. 2 teams come out of that, and then you have,
I hear you. It feels like we're more likely to get 32 than 6.
Yeah, it's not happening.
It's just not going our way, pal.
I'm with it. I just like just looking at how many teams are bunched up there in the SEC, for example, in the Big Ten. It's just like there's no mathematical way that 3 teams don't get in from each conference, essentially. Like
I do kind of snicker when I hear people write off Texas or wrote off Alabama in week 1, or they're writing off Oregon. The media machines behind those 2 conferences in particular is you win your very next game, you're right back in the conversation. Look at the narrative around Texas in 1 week. That's why we were warning everybody ahead of Red River. I understand Oklahoma does things that bother Texas, but Arch Manning is not the problem over there. And look, the SEC at this point is the ACC with a better publicist. But when it comes to the CFP, as Miami fans found out last year, a lot of this is a publicity game. A lot of this is controlling the narrative. And Miami, being in the ACC, does not have the type of partnerships that'll help fuel that. But look, if Penn State, if their season didn't totally implode, yeah, they lost that embarrassing game to UCLA. If they TCB'd against Northwestern, they were, a game against Indiana away from being right back in the conversation. It's just so rigged for these big programs. It's why that's such a monumental victory for Cignetti, who I've been a very vocal critic of. But look, you look at the composite talent rating, 72nd in the nation, doing it with 0 5-stars. Now, I may be looking at Oregon a little funny, and I may direct my ire that was once residing with Kurt Cignetti to Dan Lanning, who hasn't done jack crap really as a head coach and is this media darling because
undefeated last year.
Hasn't win the big games. Win the big games. He is held to a much lower standard than other people. It's weird. He's just, the media's picked guys. Fans like him. I guess he's handsome and charming, and that's what he's got going for him. But you look at Indiana's roster. You look at Indiana's schedule now. They did it. That was the one flaw last year, was they didn't play anybody of repute. They won at Autzen.
2-0 against ranked teams.
They can lose 2 conference games here. They're in. You can't keep them out. You can't. So it was a massive win. Meanwhile, I look at Oregon. You went to overtime against Penn State. That team is trash. That's a funny looking result now in retrospect.
I don't think we should, by the way. I don't think we should. So don't take this as a endorsement. I'm asking, could we, meaning the University of Miami, Alex Mirabal, Shannon Dawson, the whole operation we got going on, could we rehabilitate Drew Aller, or is he that cooked?
No.
I'm not saying I don't want to.
No.
I don't want to
He's
because there's
out of
better options. I'm
eligibility,
just
I
trying to
think,
see how far off he is. That
No.
if we could potentially do that.
No, I'm out. Pete, I've always been out on this guy.
I agree.
And like his stock is somehow tanked even more. I didn't want him last year.
And I think he's out. I think he's actually completely out of
Yeah,
eligibility. But no, he just, the tools don't excite me, and he's not. It's not like he's won to the level that like a Beck did before he came here. It just not. No,
He's tall.
Yeah,
He's tall. I've
Yeah.
called him taller Van Dyke. There are just aspects of the game that seem to be broken for the young man. Throwing to the outside seems to be a real struggle. Penn State knew this. They spent a lot of money in NIL trying to give him outside weapons. What did we see? How did that improve Drew Aller's performance there? There are a lot. Look, the Mike Ryan transfer quarterback portal scouting network is 3 years running and proud of its track record. Drew Aller, he's on the outs. He's never been in. He's never been in the pipeline. I'm looking at guys at Western Carolina before I'm looking at Drew Aller.
I'm looking at Nico Iamaleava. That's another clickbait we have.
That's going to take some warming up.
I could buy that more than Drew Aller. Drew Aller, I just asked if it was possible because I don't want him. But
He's not a
Nico,
dog.
it always looks hard for him. Like the game just looks hard for Drew Aller. Although he does show terrific poise when he's DMing with young ladies and telling them how to take pictures of their anuses on the camera. Which
Allegedly.
He was real precise with his instructions. Turn the timer on, walk away, and then spread. So he was very much communicating well at the line when it came to that situation. But when it comes to running an offense, a lot less poise, a lot less decisiveness, a lot bigger issues.
If we want to do this, like who I have is like QB1 portal target.
Let's go.
Levitt.
Okay. I like Levitt.
He's got dog in him. He is really talented throwing the ball downfield. I like his moxie. We'll learn a lot. He's playing hurt this week against a really good Texas Tech defense, but it's at home. I'm a big Levitt guy. I think Hoover at TCU is an interesting prospect too. I like Levitt a little bit more. It's that time of year. I mean, you have proof of concept now for Miami. If you're a quarterback that's entering the transfer portal and you're looking at locations, hopefully Beck joins Cam Ward and guys that launch pad themselves into the Heisman Trophy ceremony and to the top of the NFL draft. We're better than Miami at this point.
No, we should get our pick of the litter. I like Levitt conceptually. He's going to have Tyson go on to the league. Scadaboo's already gone. Maybe his coach leaves to go to Florida or something, who knows? So that's something to keep an eye on. I do like him. Some comments I want to get to here before we continue tampering. Danny's saying University of Louisville's O-line and run game has been bad versus awful comp. Yeah, I mean, just looking at the Virginia game, which is an overtime game, so extra snaps, 54 yards rushing, 2.0 yards per carry for Louisville. So Louisville, it cannot run the football. Love this name, Malp the G. Appreciate your support. First Canes home game since 96 on Friday. We moved to Georgia, and it's only seen us away. Stoked. I watched 20 years of suffering from the shadows. What are you laughing about, Pete?
I just looked up FIFA, dog.
Wait, who? Wait, what's going on?
The comment that said, is Mike trying to dress like FIFA dog?
Pull up FIFA dog. Let's see what he looks like. Let's see what's going on.
Fife.
Let's see what's going on. Yeah, Brandon's saying Bailey.
From Tribe.
You mentioned Hoover, and I'd say my guy CJ Bailey.
Fife dog.
He is someone mentioned he had the Felix Hernandez tilt.
FIFA. That's so Miami. FIFA.
FIFA dog.
Rest in peace, Fife dog. Sellers is an interesting prospect. Sellers is going to be looking for a bag.
That's fine.
There's so much. I mean, if there's a position that's worth it, it's that one. I think there are going to be plenty of interesting prospects. The January window doesn't seem advantageous for a team like Miami, which will be playing important football games at the time. But if any staff is well positioned to prioritize that and handle the business on the field, you have you have your pick of the litter. You're having Mario Cristobal when it comes to talent acquisition and all the ramifications of that. So I like Miami here. Miami's just got its crap together, and you have to trust, even though the timeline of these quarterback pursuits in the offseason have left people a little concerned.
Yep.
And you're really shrinking your window here in terms of margin for error, because when we got Cam Ward and got Carson Beck, it was either those guys or, quite frankly, what you had already in your QB room. That's a skinny, folks. If we didn't get Carson Beck, it's probably going to be Emory. The pickings were slim at that point.
At that point, there were some good names on the board that we didn't end up getting. George Valero says, "Are we ignoring the FIFA dog mispronunciation by Pete?"
FIFA.
So, to your point, because it's a good point, I want to touch on it because this is a tampering podcast. You were talking about the fact that we're not going to be really free necessarily during what's now the only window of the portal, because we're going to be trying to win a championship. Hopefully that's all true, of course, and we all think it will be, and we all hope it will be. The other side of that is we'll be trying to compete for a championship. So if you're a quarterback that wants to get drafted high, win, get protected, the proof of concept will be there if Miami is winning at that level. So on one hand, you can't wine and dine them at Rusty Pelican all week, but you could say, hey, turn on the TV and you'll see you. And I'm just pulling up. This is the week's bracket projection. I'm not co-signing this or what is from USA Today, just something to get started of some teams that as of now will be projected in the playoff. So Miami, okay. Number 2, Indiana, Mendoza will go pro. You think Alberto Mendoza, his brother, who's a good prospect, would probably be the heir apparent there. Either way, Indiana's not necessarily a big quarterback hunting team. So
why do they have different accents?
What do you mean?
The Mendoza brothers.
Oh yeah, they're different personalities. I've heard. Fernando much more of a bookworm. Alberto more of a.
Did he not go
extrovert.
outside? Where's his Westchester accent? The guy went to Columbus.
And Belen before that, he's he's a studious guy. He's in the library.
Do you think his accent when he's giving interviews is a put on?
No.
That's his. I haven't met someone from Miami, like Miami, that sounds like that. His brother sounds like he's from Miami.
They're different. They're different cats. I heard they are very different personalities. That's one thing I hear about.
Switching?
No, Mendoza definitely not.
No, he's like that all the time.
He is like that all
the
time.
What if it's an A-Rod thing where he was just like from a very early age, he was just programmed to answer questions a certain way, and then it became his real voice.
I mean, you saw he has a LinkedIn profile, an active LinkedIn profile. Have you seen his LinkedIn?
I haven't seen Fernando Mendoza's LinkedIn.
If you're looking for some financial advice, holler at him.
You should take a victory lap on him. He's a Heisman candidate.
On CanesInSight, they're still trying to argue that I was wrong. They're like, no, actually, he's average. I'm like, average?
No, he's not average. He's not average. He would have done well here. Look, when we get down to the nitty gritty, I'd rather have Carson Beck.
Me too.
Hopefully,
better fit, better, quicker arm. We're the Carson Beck podcast.
I saw Jordan Rogers actually say one of the few negative things today on television. He was on Get Up, and he wasn't a fan of Mendoza's reactions to when things break down. Now, we saw this a little bit in Cal Berkeley, but you also have to extend a benefit of the doubt to the young man. That was a lot of football ago, but improv, not his strong suit. Whereas Carson Beck, when a play breaks down or he's holding on to the ball a little bit longer to try to make something happen downfield, I trust him more in that situation.
Yeah, I think quicker, more twitchy athletes. So let's just go to this college football playoff, because what I'm getting at here, Mike, is who else is going to be able to point to the top 4 quarterback and say, this is your spot? Miami, obviously, that's an easy one.
We know Texas Tech's going to be in that game. The resources are uncanny.
They are, and they went after Quinn Ewers. They like to play this game. Carson Beck, I think they went after him as well. But they also have a pretty good backup quarterback in Will Hammond. He came in when Morton's been hurt, and he's throwing dimes. Like, I wouldn't necessarily want to lose him. They have a homegrown quarterback right now. That guy, if they didn't give him the starting job, he would have opportunities in the portal. So they have a homegrown guy with talent and some experience. Alabama, that'll be Ty Simpson. If it's not Ty Simpson, it'll be Keelan Russell. Oregon, I don't think Dante Moore is going to go pro right away. You need experience. You need reps. Same thing with Ty Simpson. I think both those guys need reps. I think they come back and compete for a Heisman. Texas A&M, same thing. Oklahoma, same thing. I don't see Mateer going pro. Georgia Tech.
You don't see Mateer going pro?
He hasn't played enough.
I think he's got big fans at the next level.
Maybe, but I mean, you look at the guys that have busted in the pros. They're guys that haven't played a lot. Mitch Trubisky, Richardson from Florida.
I know he's got a hand injury, but it did kind of scare me how he was flinching in the face of pressure. That's not, I didn't recognize that John Mateer. Maybe that hand injury was really, really messing with him. He was short arming stuff, kind of an unrecognizable player. And I get that Texas has some players on defense, but that kind of scared me a little bit. When a guy starts flinching in the pocket, Brad Kyan never shook that.
Yeah. I mean, he's a tough guy, Mateer, but he's a wild man. And there is some learning for him to do at the college level. I think Moore, Simpson, obviously forget about Arch and Lagway, but if Moore, Simpson, or Mateer were to go pro, even in a lighter year, yeah, maybe they'll get drafted high, but I don't think their chances of success are very high because if you look, and I've said this a million times, but it's true, look at college football to pros, the quarterbacks that have a lot of experience have a lot more success. The ones that don't tend to struggle. Trubisky, Richardson, just some recent examples, but it's a trend that we've seen for many, many years.
Easy in the comments. I appreciate you. As much as we can give D Money the flowers on Mendoza, and I think we should it's a sign of a true grown person when you can admit that you were wrong. Chat, admit you were wrong on Mendoza. D Money was right there. But D,
terrible.
You were wrong on Jackson Arnold. He stinks.
He is terrible. He can't throw. He lacks instincts. I thought that'd be a good reclamation project for somebody. I thought Auburn made sense for him. They would get him in that system. They get a better offensive line. He can run. He's a tough guy. He had good arm strength, but he is not good. I'm going to do your favorite thing, admitting I'm wrong. Definitely on Jackson Arnold.
Proud of you.
Appreciate
How good does that feel?
You know what?
Well, there's no consequence to saying that you were wrong. I don't understand why people are so hard-headed about this stuff. It feels good.
I feel lighter.
Yes.
I feel lighter.
It's interesting. I haven't seen this kid. Malpagy says,
oh, dude, I'm a big Malik Washington guy.
I know about Malik Washington, but he says, and the HBCU kid, QB at Alabama State, kid is a dog. Definitely D1 next year. You listen, you see me with my Jackson State on today as the last agent to represent an HBCU first round pick. Whew, and happens to be from Alabama State. Let me make a call or two.
Well,
look at that.
I mean, if we're really going, you want to go deep? What do you know about Teron Dickens at Western Carolina?
Tiger.
What do we know about Tiger Dickens?
Yeah, he's a local kid. He got that. He got that dog. Tri-County area.
We were watching since he was a lad.
Did you see what he did his last game?
Let Pete cook here.
Did you see what he did his last game?
D, you may know more about him than I do, but I've been hearing that's the type of kid that I've heard about from Duaso, from the local shot caller himself, since the kid was like in 6th grade.
Dude, did you see what he did his last game?
No, I didn't see it.
He was playing Furman. Gary, you probably had your eye on this one too. He was playing Furman. I'm gonna open up the box score here. Well, that wasn't the game that I saw. There was one game that I saw. He had a box score where he went 42 of 42.
42 of 42. Yeah, I know. He is balling.
Wofford.
Suspended for academic issues earlier in the week, which is not ideal for your starting quarterback, but clearly delivering on the field. Tiger Dickens. So I'm a fan. For Miami, I'm not sure.
No. But look, if we're expanding the network, guy finished the game 53 of 56, 3 tutties.
At FIU after Keon Jenkins.
Lights out, Keon Jenkins. Look at nickname. That was a good nickname era. We need some more nicknames. We don't got that. We have Baby Jesus, I guess, on the current team is a good nickname. Ruben Bain doesn't really need a nickname.
Hurricane Bain.
Hurricane Bain. And just Bain itself because of the Batman. I think it fits.
Yeah. Ruben sandwich.
I gotta say, Pete, if I'm giving MVP to chat members. I think this month I'm giving the MVP to Joel Warren. Not only is he always throwing us alley-oops for our sponsors, like he threw alley-oops at UM when he was on the basketball team in the 80s. Look at this one. He says, love the licking, or we'll be there for Louisville all day. Love the licking. But when my wife saw it on our credit card statement, I had some splaining to do. And I think really from what I understand, talking to people, the erotic establishments, it doesn't come out like the actual name of it.
Comes out. I've heard they come out as like Chinese restaurants.
New King God says, let's talk Mark Sanchez. Thoughts on what happened?
Yeah. I mean, that was more than alcohol, no?
Was he running like shuttle drills? Like, wasn't he running around?
The security footage makes you think that it was bizarre, truly bizarre situation. And that's what happens when you don't have Spiro Dides on an Indianapolis Colts call. Also, the world goes out of sync, and Mark Sanchez is getting stabbed in a back alley. So that'll teach the universe Spiro Dides belongs on Colts games.
Not a good week for Hispanic quarterbacks aside from Mendoza winning. Castellanos got beaten pillar to post.
Lanos.
Mark Sanchez beats up an old man and gets stabbed. Imagine, have you ever heard of somebody that got the career ruined for being stabbed? That's like one of the worst ways to lose your job is by getting stabbed.
Paul Pierce's career.
That's right.
He just spun that into a win. Look,
did he tell you he was wrong when you went after Paul Pierce?
No, but look, he's got bigger problems. You know, he had a little brush with the law too. Paul Pierce sucks.
I thought that was your boy. I thought it was all in jest for show.
No, like we have like a little friendly thing on the air, but I have him blocked on all his socials, and it's in the bio. Paul Pierce sucks.
Well, here, Mouth the G says Andrew Body is the Alabama State quarterback, 18 of 24, 312 yards, 4 touchdowns versus UAB. Got Trent Dilfer fired.
Shador arm with do we want a Shador arm?
Yeah, but Sellers running for college. 15 and 1 touchdown interception ratio. Andrew Bodie.
What did Shador arm is? I don't know.
Bernardi says Paul Pierce equals fraud.
Mm-hmm. This one has been a weird one. We've spent more time talking Western Carolina Catamounts and Louisville.
Yeah,
or maybe we're just so far removed from that.
I'm checking on Andrew Body right now.
I appreciate the comments saying I look Puerto Rican.
I'm gonna make some calls.
So Andrew Body, I'm looking him up. I'm not sure this is the guy for us, Pete. I'm sad to say. 15-1 touchdown rate. He has a 196 quarterback rating, so he's balling now.
That's pretty good.
But
size, what's the size?
6 foot.
6 foot,
which means he's not 6 feet.
6 foot. The body is not that. So it's not that tall.
Sellers.
He is in his 5th year of college football. First 2 years. 58 completion percentage, 56 completion percentage, 47, then a short year last year, and now a senior year for Andrew Body out of Corpus Christi, Texas. I'd always think it was weird. Do you remember when like WWE would always, when they do their like house show lineup, it would always be Corpus Christi? Be like, what the hell is Corpus Christi?
I mean, they're not going to Corpus Christi anymore now that Vince McMahon isn't there. You see this dilution by degrees, D. I'm starting to miss Vince's approach to protecting the business. This is not going well.
Dilution by degrees. Never heard that one. I like it.
You know, you charge people $5,000 for nosebleeds for WrestleMania. Let's see how that works out. You got to do desperate things like break up a post WrestleMania faction just because no one's watching your product anymore.
I thought Seth got hurt. Jake Campbell.
He did get hurt, but you know, the
boy who cried wolf. People are going to be punching him in the arm in the future just because they don't buy it.
Yeah. I think they also needed to shake things up. The reports were weeks ago that they needed to change creative because Netflix wasn't happy with the numbers. And as someone, look, I do the tangential following the product thing often. I very rarely have the sound on when it comes to wrestling programming. I'm not even incentivized to put it on mute. Checking out. It's this off season, the post SummerSlam lead up to Survivor Series, which is always kind of a down period. This one's been one for the books. It's been bad. Yeah, we'll get to our wrestler of the week here in a second. Some important fashion talk before. Ghost and Von Donaldson wants to know, Mike, do you buy all your hats from Instagram advertisements? I am IG knows its mark when it comes to me. This was certainly an IG advertisement, like the same by the makers of the Yankees Seinfeld hat came the Frazier Mariners hat. I needed to upgrade the wardrobe last year on by random team generator. I became a Mariners fan. However, a lot of Miami kids growing up, like their second team was the Mariners because of Griffey Jr. and A-Rod. So this one was easy for me to fire up. Yeah, shout out to Junior, who's our producer for El Big League Show. He's a Miami guy. He's always rocking the Mariner stuff. So I also buy my clothes from Instagram. So if you want to check out a great shop on Instagram, my boy, Heat Subculture, called Miami Subculture too, if you want to broaden it up, because got the classic Miami Subs branding. If you know, you know. The maker of the classic Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buffett shirt using the Jimmy Buffett album cover with the Jimmy Butler letters. Very popular. His daughter actually wore it to a Heat game. So he's had a lot of classic looks. Right now, I got my Nikola shirt in honor of the next Detlef Schrempf, who plays for the Miami Heat, Nikola Jovic. And of course, it is the Alpine candy that you saw in the commercials back in the day, the old Ricola. So Nikola, Ricola, Miami Subculture, Heat Subculture. Go find it on Instagram. My guy, Andrew Barnett, shout out to you. And that's why I'm wearing the shirt right here.
Didn't buy it on Instagram advertisements. My Instagram algorithm is diabolical. But I did get it from someone who sells stuff on Instagram.
D,
so.
we got a something I want to show real quick. Talking about Dana White. Look at this picture from my boy Malky Kawa. He says this is back in 2013.
Wow.
The U with Dana White. So this has maybe been in the works, man, for a minute here.
It's good for him on the U.
Yeah.
I like it.
For a first timer back in 2013, he wasn't watching the Shalala ad.
Slug Bruce is saying Austin Mack, the backup quarterback for Alabama, next quarterback. If I take an Alabama backup, appreciate the support, Slug Bruce. Keelan Russell, number 1 quarterback in the country last year. Get him like a Jaden Daniels and work him up. That would be my move there. Let's wait.
Wait, who's your number 1 though? Like, do you disagree on Levitt?
I like Levitt. I would say it's Lenore Sellers, if that's even a possibility. You gave us that boom earlier in the show.
Look, I don't think it's not.
I like the fact that Levitt's been in the playoffs and played in those games too.
Played well.
Yeah, he's got the size. Like, he checks a lot of the boxes.
Yeah, that TCU game earlier this year, I was watching that one with the keen eyes. That comes as no surprise given how much I love Josh Hoover as well. But I thought the guts that Levitt displayed in that game and the throws that he made. Granted, he's got an NFL wide receiver lining up on the outside, but come on, it's Arizona State. They had every reason to quit that game. They were down 3 scores early, and he battles back. This was a team that their whole identity was Cam. Nah. Cam goes to the NFL. They still got dogs on that team. It would be a home run. It would be a home run getting Levitt here.
Jose Lasso says, good morning, fellas. Congrats to Saudi Arabia qualifying for the World Cup. Pete.
Big draw against Iraq yesterday. That's all we needed. We just needed a point. And my boy Salem Al-Tassari, man, he's headed back to the biggest stage, man. I can't wait to watch him. Definitely be catching one of their games here in the States for the World Cup.
I can answer the question for Ghost of Navon Donaldson. Do we think Dawson stays? This has been a conversation on a couple episodes that we've done together. The update is what it's always been. Shannon Dawson is happy at Miami. He knows he has a really good thing down here in Miami. He has turned down head coaching jobs that he's been offered before. He is not just going to take any job. It has to be the right situation. Now, I think if you look at the landscape of the available jobs right now, there are plenty of good jobs. I think that those places would probably want someone with a little bit more experience and maybe a little bit more sizzle. No offense to Coach Dawson, who I think the world of. It's got to be right both ways. It's got to be right for Shannon Dawson. And nothing has changed in that regard. Shannon Dawson's not going to overnight become more desperate to become a head coach somewhere. If he were desperate, he wouldn't be here right now.
Ralph says the best woke, I don't know how we got here. The best woke croquetas in town are at Islas Canarias. I highly recommend it. Both woke and unwoke croquetas. Croquetas of all political persuasions at Islas Canarias.
Politicized croquetas,
Cuban
for
Express.
heaven's sake. So, like, guys, like,
I don't know what's going on in the chat.
Take a BUZZN. Like, everything.
Woke croquetas.
Jesus.
If I would pick any,
That's the line has been crossed.
Every friggin' thing.
I would say if I'm looking at the menu, though, I'm being honest. If I'm saying woke croquetas of the 7 options, you got 7 different types of croquetas. I would say the biggest candidates to be woke croquetas, obviously OG ham, gluten-free would be one. Buffalo cauliflower, which I'm having, might be considered a woke croqueta.
That is a woke croqueta.
That's a woke croqueta.
You know what? Take 2. I'll have a woke croqueta
as
as well.
It's phenomenal.
Woke. That's all I eat, apparently.
And then the kimchi mojo pork. I think the cosmopolitan nature of the croqueta, you might say it is woke. But at the same time,
you really got to proofread these things better before you put them on.
But then also at the same time, you have 2 peoples that have struggled under communism coming together with the Korean kimchi and the Cuban mojo pork in one croqueta. So maybe it's not a woke croqueta. I'll let the chat decide. Is the kimchi mojo pork, in your view, a woke croqueta? We're accepting gluten-free as woke. We are accepting the buffalo cauliflower as woke.
You have said woke so many times.
Ghost about Donald says anarchist croqueta. Sport wants to know, who does kimchi croqueta vote for? Down the middle. Could be down the middle. Phil saying too multicultural with that kimchi.
I don't think politics is life for the croqueta. I think the croqueta exists and then checks in every 4 years. He skips out on I don't want to assign a pronoun to the croqueta. Croqueta just, doesn't even check in on the midterms. Just, watches 2 debates, sees a couple of ads, and then makes his decision, their decision based off of, 1 or 2 issues.
Low information voter.
Yeah.
Woke croquetas.
I don't see the croqueta scrolling Facebook, turning around to the little croquetas around them saying like, did you know about this Michelle Obama? I don't think that's a thing. That's a real conversation I had with my grandfather, by the way.
Desserts, flan, arroz con leche, natilla.
Croqueta.
Then you got croqueta.
We found it.
There you go. I got your shirt right there. My guy Andrew right here. He's a pretty liberal guy. I'm sure he'd do that croqueta shirt in a second. They might kick you out of the city for that one, Mike. That would be a flagrant step.
They're trying to kick me out of the city already.
Oh, we're keeping you. We're not going to let Seattle have you, even though you wear the Fraser hat and the tilt.
Ideologically aligned.
Phil L says the croqueta is fiscally conservative, socially liberal.
That's what I used to tell people.
Who do our empanadas vote for? I mean, it kind of depends on which empanada you're going with. The Argentinians, you don't know. I'd probably say right now they're more right, the Argentinian empanadas. Colombian empanadas, that depends.
Yeah, there's a whole like bailout package that's hinging on the next election.
Let's see here. Joe B says 2 quarterbacks rarely works, just shows their desperation.
There we go. Thank you, Joe B.
Is that really happening? Is Louisville really going to play 2 quarterbacks?
Wait, for real?
There was some buzz about that. I don't know if it was a fake
Who's
news
the backup?
thing. Pete, is that a thing? Because if it is, we could do it.
Then I gotta bone up on the backup.
Yeah, apparently. Well, I don't know if that you should be doing all that.
This is, you guys. I'm telling you about this Jeff Brom character. He's always got something. Let me tell you something.
He's been saying a lot of wild stuff in the media this week, Mike. Let me tell you.
He has. He says that we have the better front than any SEC team.
Nothing wild about that.
Crazy,
that's what it is.
I mean, that's a factual statement.
Okay, I had the debate with D yesterday, and the goalposts were moved, so I'm not going to go through it again. But yeah, he's just saying a lot of wild things this week. I don't know.
Wait, Brady Allen. Where do I know this name from? Where did he come from? Purdue. Yeah, was he with Coach Brom at Purdue?
Oh, yeah, Brady Allen. Did he sign with he might be like a double transfer, Brady Allen. I feel like he's like a former pretty decent recruit.
I'll tell you right now, I'm looking at his page. He was at Purdue. He was at Gibson Southern High School before that. He was a 4-star recruit coming out.
I know he did sign.
Top 200 recruit.
Top 10 quarterback in the country, Brady Allen.
Yeah, 6'5", 210.
That's why you don't look. So let's, by the way, guys.
All right, but Deuce Adams has has had 4 passing attempts so far this season.
For those wondering why I don't like spending money on high school quarterbacks and I go with transfers, let's look at the top quarterback recruits of 2022. Here we go. Drew Aller.
Boo.
Cade Klubnik.
Cheeks.
Connor Wegman.
Now at Houston.
Ty Simpson, good. That one worked out. That took a little bit of time to cook. Devin Brown now at Cal. Got beaten out by a freshman. Yep. Walker Howard, I think he's at Baylor. He's somewhere.
Backing up at Baylor.
Yeah, he's not doing anything. Gunnar Stockton looking young and spry in his picture here. He stinks. Nick Evers is at his 5th school. Malik Murphy's at Oregon State. I believe it's his third school. And then Brady Allen, backup quarterback that we might see. So strap
is it
in.
him or is it Deuce? Is it Deuce Adams?
The deuce is loose.
Because what are they saying? Is it Deuce Adams that's playing? Because I could see Deuce Adams seems like a better athlete. Typically, you want to have someone with a different skill set if you're going to play 2. You have the mobile guy and you have the pocket passer guy. Although Miller Moss can get out of the pocket some, right? He's not a slouch when it comes to the athleticism, is he?
No, Miller Mouse is a slouch. He is. Oh my goodness,
move, yeah.
He is a slouch and a half.
He's tiny. I mean, I think it's interesting because they have some weapons, man. But
I'm probably giving way too much credit to a scramble that I saw.
We're gonna
scramble.
This guy stinks in that respect. I was very unimpressed with Miller Mott. Honestly, watching Louisville, it was highs and lows as far as what do you see from them? Because like I said, Chris Bell, highest category, as good as Jeremiah Love as far as the best players that we faced. So that's high praise.
All right,
for me.
All right, so here we go. Here's a context. On his weekly radio show, Jeff Brom said that U of L will most likely use multiple quarterbacks. He may just be saying that to try to throw Miami off, but Brom adds some context and says that will be for certain packages. So Louisville Twitter has taken this. And if you search Deuce Adams, there's a whole lot of Deuce Adams eye emoji things going on because he's the most athletic quarterback that they have in that room. He also apparently has a big arm from one clip that I see over here. All right. So now we got to keep an eye on this Deuce Adams character.
Scuba Steve says, can we stop giving bulletin board material? When we actually win something, then let's talk about it.
So I already canceled the show until January 20th, 2026 is going to be a barn burner.
You left your successful career to start a Miami Hurricanes content factory.
But hold on a second. Let me try to. I want to make sense of that comment. Isn't bulletin board material when you say something that's like going to fire the team?
I'm not disrespecting them. I don't know who Deuce Adams is. I'm sorry. I don't know. Like third string quarterback. We're educating ourselves here.
I will say. The tight end from our boy from Notre Dame had D-Money's voice running through his head.
He's playing good
all week, man.
He's playing good.
Week.
I didn't do that.
Was some
I tried to stop him.
He's playing well, man.
I tried to stop him. I was a Riordan guy.
Shout out to Riordan. He sounds like Riordan's name sounds like, like those people that are like a quarter Irish and they name their kid the wildest Irish name of all time. Like no one even knows how to pronounce it. Yeah. That's what that guy's name sounds like, Riordan. Anyways. Some news that we did not get to, Pete, that we got to get to here. Article by, I'm not sure how reputable he is, Matt Hayes. Embattled Florida coach Billy Napier could be fired as soon as this weekend. USA Today, so this is like pretty legit. Yeah. They used to be in those little boxes you would see on the sidewalk, the USA Today.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're doing these days.
I think this also makes sense when you contextualize that article. Not just like we...
Hold on. D-Money referenced an entire article that had Miami as the 1 seed from USA Today earlier today.
Very credible.
As his credible source, and then is now doubling back.
Way to hold him accountable.
Credibility for it.
Way to hold
Just
him
wanted to throw that out there.
PGP, holding him accountable.
Well, I mean, it's got more, the ads, as someone who likes to stuff in as many ads as possible, I can appreciate it. But man, they got some ads. I'm seeing double Peyton Manning's over here.
Well, it's also, like a lot of the ads that you're seeing that has to do with your cookies. Like,
wait, why did I get in this back pain? I don't have back pain. I'm in terrific shape. My back feels fine.
Vintage sports card.
That might be it.
Yeah.
Cancer, Pornhub, Subaru for cheap. In the more story section.
That Benny Johnson thing. Why is this website advertising gay cruises?
There you go. You got some Subarus there. Subaru Forester. Anyways, going back to the article here.
All right. So let's contextualize this because I have no reason to not believe this reporting, and it makes sense given everything surrounding that program. But you see the lay of the land now. Penn State just did something that is shocking. Letting go of James Franklin. I guess when you say they lost to Northwestern at home on the heels of losing as a big favorite at UCLA, like that makes sense. James Franklin, one thing you could always say about him is he won the games that he was supposed to win. He started losing those. And they acted like a program that has been talking about firing him for several years, and that played out. But now, UCLA, Virginia Tech, we can debate if those are good jobs or not. If Florida knows that if that job becomes available, that's the marquee job. But if Florida becomes available now, what is the perception? Is that a better job than Penn State? I think it is, but you're having that debate. So if you're Florida and you're a decision maker and you realize we're not bringing Billy Napier back, why are you going to be lagging behind Penn State that is already having these conversations already with agents? They got the jump on you. Now, we all know how big-time college football works. I assume Florida is already back-channeled and had some conversations with candidates too. But have you had those conversations with potential recruits? No. Penn State's already getting a plan in place, and Penn State is doing the right thing. Once you make your mind up that you're not bringing the head coach back, you need to be doing what Penn State did.
Yeah.
So I think this has more to do with, Penn State's decision than it even has to do with the embattled season that Billy Napier has undergone. And if they lose, they should absolutely get rid of him there.
That should be his actual name, embattled Florida coach Billy Napier, as they call him right here. The people who spoke on condition of anonymity to protect the ongoing process said embattled Florida coach Billy Napier could be fired as soon as this weekend. One thing's certain, he won't survive another loss. Apparently, this meeting was called by the boosters with Scott Strickland, the AD, saying that basically if you want continued financial support, that depends on a new direction within the football program. So, this job, let's talk about this job here. Is it better than Penn State? I'd say yes, just because Penn State, I think, is a very overrated job. I think James Franklin made that a good job. But we talk about Napier in Florida. He's just the latest guy to get fired in this job. Look at Dan Mullen. Look at McElwain. Look at Muschamp. You look at Ron Zook before that. Really, unless you're a first ballot Hall of Famer like Meyer or Spurrier, this job has been your downfall because the expectation is to win championships. You're in the SEC. You got to play Florida State every year, which right now is not too daunting, but it makes it a little more tricky. But for whatever reason, and you could have said this about Miami before Mario, coaches are going here to kill their careers. Like no one's had a good career after being at Florida.
No, McElwain tried to reshape his name somewhat, but he's never going to get a big job ever again. I think it's a good job. Their collective is good. They're in the SEC, so they have
Is
better
the collective good?
I think
they had a guy drunk on a Spaces talking about money. They've lost every recruiting battle they've ever fought.
They don't.
That's not true. They beat Miami on.
They've beaten Miami on guys like they
got a couple last year.
I understand. Like
they did bad. By the way, very bad allocation of resources because they had the 78th or whatever ranked portal class to overpay for a Dallas Wilson for the next coach.
So good.
But yeah, they did win.
So
they did win a couple last time.
I think Florida.
They didn't win for Malinois, Samson Okalola, Fletcher, all the guys that were burying him when we played him the last two times. They didn't win on those guys, but yes, they did win on a couple freshmen who will never do anything for their current coaching staff.
So if you're a Florida Gator fan, who do you think the home run hire is?
James Franklin for me. If I'm cheering against Florida, which I'm cheering against Florida at all times, I don't want them to get James Franklin because James Franklin can actually get good players.
I don't want them.
That's what they need.
I would say a home run hire is Lane. And I understand the concerns there with Lane, but I think the brand, the collective is strong enough. He could be tagged in when a recruiting battle is hot enough, and he's got the schematics that are appealing. And it's not, look, Ole Miss, they loaded up last year. Like he found ways to get top end talents with that collective to Oxford, Mississippi. He actually didn't catch enough crap for missing the college football playoff last go round.
The biggest bust of all of those guys. That team was incredible.
Yeah.
We had last year, talent wise.
I'm a big Lane guy. I understand why he's not everybody's cup of tea. If Miami had its crap together, if we had the collective in place that we have now, if we had ass kickers in the athletic department and the whole Mario Lane debate popped up now, I would have been Lane because like we have guys, let's scheme our way. Let's get to the ACC. Let's get a good coach. But we needed a total ass kicker at the time. And that's what we got with Mario Cristobal. And that's why he was the pick there. But I'm a Lane guy. I think Lane's a home run for Florida. But I'm with you. This may come as a shock to people. I think James Franklin would be an unbelievable hire for them. And probably Florida fans don't want to hear that. But I think the issue is, and you can worry about not winning the SEC championship and his record against top 5 teams, like you're not in that conversation right now. The floor needs to be raised. Like the entire approach, and Billy Napier has admitted this, and it took him until it was too late, frankly, to change his approach to it, was I'll develop guys. That's not what James Franklin is there to do. You get coordinators to develop guys. He's going to go out and get dudes and raise the floor. He'd be very scary for me as a Miami guy going into recruiting battles against, if James Franklin went to FSU, if James Franklin went to Florida, I'd be nervous about that if I were a Miami fan because this guy wins recruiting battles.
I don't think they're going to go. I mean, I like Golesh. I don't see them going after him because I don't see them going, G5 again after Billy there. I think they're kind of in a spot where they need to get someone who's proven. It wouldn't surprise me to see Gruden in the mix too. I think these other guys would be safer bets like Kiffin, but I just think Gruden, if he's going to do the college thing, Florida might be a good fit for him.
You think Gruden's going to be allowed to get a marquee job, or is he going to have to go to like a group of 5 or just like a lower level? Like Nebraska, I guess. Like that tier is like top end.
I think he's going to be a wanted man. I do. If he really wants the college thing, I think he'll be a wanted
He's
man.
doing a lot to reshape the perception around him. Like the idea to go to Barstool was like mutually like great both ways for both Barstool and John Gruden.
And I think he's got the energy for it. Like
he does. I think
unlike Belichick, obviously. Like
and societal shift. Like people like John Gruden. They're ready to forgive him.
I mean, these names would be such a disaster for the Gators. I'm hoping.
Yeah, I don't know that Gruden would work.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I could see how they and
It's
their
been
mind would
rumored.
be like, because my thing is they're desperate right now. Like they need something that's going to differentiate them from some of these SEC schools. And to me, I think that would be the thing where you're getting built-in media coverage and it would be put in a certain light. I think if he's the guy there, that's like it's the renaissance of John Gruden.
This is why I say he needs to go to a smaller place first, because like you drop these pro guys, especially Gruden, who hasn't coached in the pros now for a couple seasons. You approach him like you plug him into college football right now. Well, I think Gruden has a different energy for it than say Coach Belichick does. Like
It's a different game.
It is totally different, and it takes a while for these guys to learn the ropes there. Now, Gruden may be dirty. He may be built like that. He may be built for this. He may have the energy for it that Bill Belichick doesn't. Where Bill Belichick very clearly had an arrogance about him to this. I don't think that's. I don't think Gruden's going to have that kind of ego there. But it's quite the investment. You take an older coach that doesn't know anything about the college game and like how things operate now. Malleability is big. Like they're changing the rules month to month on guys here.
Pete, you said that Florida needs something to differentiate themselves from other SEC teams. I'm pretty sure if they have a losing record this year, they'll be the only SEC team to have lost more games than they've won 4 out of the past 5 seasons. I think that would be a standalone deal for the Florida Gators. I don't think Kentucky has had 4 out of 5 losing seasons. I know Vanderbilt has not. So you could have Florida standing out on their own as the biggest current loser in the Southeastern Conference. So there is some standout qualities to that program here. Before we get into Wrestler of the Week, because I know we got to get that rolling here.
Yeah.
The commit list for Florida, anything you see there, Pete, that you like? Maybe
Marquez
Kendall Gorville.
Daniel.
Yeah, Marquez Daniel, big guy, receiver.
I don't know what the latest. I don't know if there's any more traction there with him, but Hezzy Kent, we've talked about him a ton. I don't know that they've had too much success trying to get back into that one. D, you maybe know something different than I do. It's not that great, really. That's the problem.
And they're bad evaluators, with Franklin. It's not even that Franklin gets like top 5 classes. It's the guys he gets turned into great pros, whereas the Gators, these guys are most likely to be bad players. So
another Gator bust.
All over if they even get to the NFL. I don't know how many of those guys are going to be getting the NFL unless they come to Miami, in which case, great gets. So before we get to the wrestler of
shame.
Before we want to
reclamation project for LJ McRae on the horizon. Come on.
Gators losing is a win-win situation for the Canes in a lot of ways. You want a win-win-win situation. Play it forward. KashKick app, KashKick in the App Store. 4.5 plus average rating, over 1.5 million downloads. This is all legit. One of the biggest apps in the country. All it does, it consolidates your games that you like to play on your phone when you're bored. Mike, when he's in social situations, tends to retreat to his phone, look down. Right. Yeah, all kinds of games if you want to avoid social situations with your friends. You got fashion makeover for the ladies, puzzles, sports games, gambling games, you name it, coloring books, they got it at KashKick. Give it to your kids, whatever. While they're playing with the games, you are making money on the side. It connects right to your PayPal. Plus, the triple win, play it forward. The advertisers will donate equivalent money to what you're making for yourself to the American Cancer Society. So win, win, win. KashKick, KashKick. All right, let's get into it. Feeling musical? You feeling wrestling? What's the vibe right now? What do you want to start with?
Let's start with wrestling.
Let's start with wrestling. So I'll start with my wrestler of the week. Pretty much chalk. I'm going with AJ Styles, the phenomenal one. Great match with John Cena. A lot of throwback callbacks to TNA. And I'm a huge TNA guy. It was just cool to see. The match was good. The timing was good. The energy from the crowd. Just 2 veterans having a great match. His hair looks very similar to Seattle Mariners third baseman Eugenio Suarez. Just unbelievable straightness to it. AJ Styles, wrestler of the week, just for having that great match there at Crown. I didn't see the whole thing. I watched this match. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's well, that's his whole thing, right? It's a shame that the peak of his athleticism and in-ring career happened to be at a point where a lot of wrestling wasn't as hot of a product and was for a smaller promotion. Size was always his deal. He idolized Shawn Michaels, pretty good comp there. There's a reason why AJ Styles had the final match of The Undertaker's career.
Great match.
And it was a great match. It was cinematic, which is a shame because AJ would have made Undertaker look great in the ring too. He makes guys look fantastic.
Great actor too. He was great. Like he's not just a boring wrestler.
Yeah, a little corny, but a little throwback corny type of acting style. AJ did announce over the weekend that he will be retiring at the end of 2026. So that means we only get one more WrestleMania with AJ Styles. Would love for him to get a run with a belt, but I don't think it'll be a WWE belt. Given the business relationship with TNA and WWE, we can see AJ Styles having one last run with TNA's belt. I think that would be a nice, cool, full circle moment for AJ Styles. I'm glad that he had the match with John Cena. No doubt that match was going to be a banger. AJ's a man.
This is something you've been saying. Well, you've been cutting it closer. I agree with Malp in that I don't say it's super mid, but clearly momentum loss since Roman losing the title after 4 years. I think to me, it shows you the quality of that run, that really he's got to be at the top of the card for this thing to be firing on all cylinders. But I agree with you, Malp, the G.
We'll see what Braun Breaker's made of, right? You've been ready for him. It seems as though he's made big time strides with Paul Heyman as a mouthpiece. Like this could be his moment, and that could be rejuvenating. My wrestler of the week is a wrestler that more people probably know for his outside the ring antics, like calling these incredible moments, Jerry the King Lawler. But he was a brilliant wrestler back in the territory days, running that Tennessee wrestling scene.
King of Memphis.
Really, truly had one of the great blurred lines moments in entertainment history, really, with Andy Kaufman. No one could really tell if that was a work or a shoot or who was playing who. Jerry Lawler acted as Jerry Lawler in Man on the Moon.
Yeah,
an incredible job.
Did a great job acting.
Yeah,
himself.
He did great.
Looked just like him.
A horny king, Jerry the King Lawler. A big fan of his, and obviously, like if you could have one color commentator in the history of wrestling, it might be Jerry the King Lawler. Feels like a big moment. Nothing like JR and the King. And at Las Rosas, we have so many great early 90s moments of Jerry Lawler. And he had some big time feuds. I hated Jerry the King Lawler as a little kid with Bret Hart, like the Kiss My Feet match. So Jerry the King Lawler, just one of those guys that will put a smile on any wrestling fan's face, and truly one of the all-time horn dogs.
Kiss My Feet match, awesome. The midget match we saw, or what are they now, little people?
No, they're back to being midgets because of the societal shift.
All right. Hey, well, whatever you call them, those young men and women, they had a great match between Doink the Clown and Jerry the King Lawler with all those folks in tow, the little kings. But man, the best punch in the business, I think, or one of the best punches in the business, probably the best pile driver, iconic pile driver for Jerry the King Lawler. And yeah, I mean,
don't forget the ECW thing that he did too. Like the ECW stuff that he did was really controversial.
Oh yeah, he brought it to
genuine heat. Like
he brought
when Jerry wanted to get heat, like very few people were better at it.
And he's original straight edge before CM Punk, and because he's doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, never did, and he was really one of the original deathmatch guys. You see, like ECW, who's kind of like representing professional wrestling, but really, and Memphis was more like ECW back in those days because it was bloody, a lot of brawls, a lot of street fights. So Jerry the King Lawler played that role excellent, even though really he was a precursor to ECW. Left Perp saying, yep, hard to mention Jerry Lawler and not Andy Kaufman. And there you go. You got JR on the call.
Oh God.
Always good.
I'll take the mind back. We'll talk music.
There is Jay. Extremely crappy wrestling. That was what I called it. Amazing. Great callback, Jay.
My song of the week is Brown Sugar by D'Angelo. D'Angelo, great 3 albums, a neo soul icon. You think of him, you think of the untitled How Does It Feel music video.
Always tough it's a great song, but you didn't want to have that video on. Because it's just someone walks in.
I did. You wanted to everybody wanted to get those lines. Everybody wanted the D'Angelo lines.
So you're sitting there in a Stephon Marbury jersey watching this video in your house, and your dad walks in. You're gonna look. It's gonna look a little weird.
It does, but look, that was Channel 71, the box. What came on. All right. It was a great song, was it not?
Unbelievable. Great album.
Really feel bad for his family too. His wife Angie Stone passed away a couple of months ago. I know they have a child. Because of this passing, I was actually thinking about D'Angelo a lot last week. So the timing on this one was really curious for me too. I revisited his catalog upon hearing the news because I'm a big D'Angelo fan, and man, it gets better with age. Really, truly one of the better soul singers. Even his newer stuff in the 2010s, he had an album. Everybody was asking, where's D'Angelo? And I really liked that last album too. So was really sad to hear this news because I was hoping he was going to do that thing where he goes away for 12 years and then comes back with a banger album. And unfortunately, we won't get that. Hopefully, there's some unreleased tracks out there, but D'Angelo is a legend. If you're not familiar with his catalog, go educate yourself.
Great choice. Remember, check out the CanesInSight playlist, which is all these songs we've been picking, all the songs I use in my preseason podcast. Now we got like hundreds and hundreds of songs. You can go check that out on Spotify and Apple Music. So my song of the week, I'm the Fugees. You think of the Fugees, you hear the score, right? That classic album. Everybody in our age group had it. I was in the sixth grade.
All the Mariners fans love that.
Mike, your hat is tilting more and more to the
side.
Yeah,
it's gonna be Joel Santana by the end of it.
So, big Fugees fan from when I was a little kid. But as I'm older now, I realized that the score was not the best Fugees album. The best Fugees album really was Wyclef, and that's the Carnival.
Dude, this album rocked.
Unbelievable, top to bottom, great. And I pick a million songs from this one. I love the one with the Neville Brothers. Love all the hits.
Phil and Gary?
All the singles. What's up?
Phil and Gary Neville?
Gary Neville, I don't know who he is, but I did one of those like face celebrity apps, and it popped out Gary Neville. I think it's because of the haircut.
I did. Thug Angels on this album? Or is that the next one?
That might be the next one. This one had a lot of songs in Haitian.
Gone Till November?
Not in Haitian, in Creole, I'm sorry. Gone Till November was on this album. The Saturday Night Live, or that Saturday Night Fever one was on this album. Guantanamera was on this album. My kids been playing that song on the piano, which made me revisit this album. Year of the Dragon, like this one because you had Lauryn Hill rapping, and I'm a big Lauryn Hill fan.
Year of the Dragon, wasn't that Cisco?
No, that is Unleash the Dragon.
All right.
Unleash the Dragon. By the way, the same person that wrote the Thong song, wrote Living La Vida Loca, and what's the famous Bon Jovi song? Living on a Prayer.
On a Prayer.
Miami Beach grad.
You were right. The Eclectic.
Yeah, that was later.
Yeah.
But this one, classic, Year of the Dragon, I liked. Again, Lauryn Hill rapping. She's got that Wu-Tang style of rapping that I enjoy. All the kind of Old Testament references and just the wordplay. Very Wu-Tang influenced style. So I love this song. You can pick any song from this album. I picked this one. Check out the CanesInSight playlist on Apple Music and Spotify. But can I give it an honorary song of the week? Go ahead.
We have to make our picks briefly.
Yeah, I was going to save some time for the picks. But I got an honorary song of the week. Trying to learn more about classical music, Pete. Trying to just educate myself a little bit, get a little more cultured. And I got to go with the symphonic poems of Hungarian piano prodigy, Franz Liszt. So check this out right here. This is Franz Liszt. We got this right here. There we go. There's my guy. So this guy right here, I was at Daily Bread across the street eating, just kind of browsing the internet, and I learned about something called Listomania. So this guy right here, Franz Liszt,
the Phoenix song.
I don't know anything about Phoenix, but apparently I was Googling it. Apparently that is the inspiration for it. So Franz Liszt, this guy right here, was such a good piano player and so good with the ladies. You see the hair, you see the jawline in 1840s Germany, I guess, although he is Hungarian, that he was playing. The girls went so crazy, they called it Listomania, like Beatlemania 120 years later. But they didn't call it Listomania like the Beatles later, where it's kind of a joke. It was an actual disease, and they were trying to find cures for it. They were trying to find cures for my guy Liszt piano playing, because the flow was so good, the jawline was so good, the piano playing was so good that they had to get doctors to try to cure Listomania. So Listomania, look at this painting. This is a painting from the 1840s, just to give you a feel for what Listomania was like if you were there. I can't believe
that's what Listomania is.
Look at my guy right here. Check this guy out. There he is. Look at long fingers playing the piano. Look at these women going crazy. They're fanning themselves, going nuts, throwing the reef. This girl's pounding, drinking this. She's got her little binoculars on. This is the 1840s painting. This is what Listomania looked like. Got the flow, got the chin. Listomania. So the symphonic poems of Franz Liszt, my honorary song of the week. But let's get into our college football picks, Mike.
Yeah, real quick. All right, college football. Do you have the graphic there to remind me? I know I'm taking Georgia Tech at Duke, and I know Duke is a real sexy pick, and it's everybody's dark horse to make it to Charlotte right now. Here's what I'm betting on. Coach Key versus Coach Diaz. That's what I'm betting on right now. Haynes King as an underdog. You kidding me? I'm going to take Brent Key in this one. I don't think this is a trap. All right. I don't think that Georgia Tech's better than Duke. And I'm going to take the better coaching staff and the better quarterback in this game. That is hugely important for whoever figures to be Miami's opponent in Charlotte. So I'm going to be taking Georgia Tech. D-Money, you disagree with me. Why?
Last time I took Duke, they got smoked by Tulane. So This is not the most promising pick. You've been taking me to the woodshed the last few weeks here on the picks. I trust Manny's defense against a Georgia Tech. It's just, for whatever reason, I know it's not the Georgia Tech team of Paul Johnson and everything else, but Manny is able to disrupt these kind of tricky running games, get on the other side of the line of scrimmage, create havoc, get these teams behind the sticks, force them to pass. This is the kind of team. I know it's not the old Georgia Tech, but similar in many ways with the running quarterback. This is the type of team he feasts on, gets these guys into third and forevers, and that's where they turn the ball over and struggle. So I like Duke in this one, although I don't feel great about it. Next pick for me, Mississippi State, 9.5. Again, Florida's one of those teams I've been picking. What are you laughing about, Pete?
you picked the Manny Diaz coach team to win
over Brinky.
They're playing well. Gosh. Mississippi State plus 9.5. Florida Gators in Gainesville. The vibes are terrible right now in Florida. If Mississippi State gets any kind of lead, it's going to be the Boo Birds. It's just going to be bad vibe central. The coach is apparently getting fired, according to the USA Today. So that's just a vibes pick. I like Mississippi State's offense. Florida is playing better, but with the loss last week, the way they kind of struggled down the stretch, coach getting fired, home game, this just screams bad vibes. So I like Mississippi State. Too many points, plus 9.5. I'm
going to use the too many points argument for Michigan State. I don't think Michigan State is a bad football team. I was really impressed with what UCLA did. I was on Michigan State last week, and UCLA really gave it to me there. Let's see how Kirk Cignetti and Indiana handle success. This is a signature win. That is a lot of rat poison. That is a cross-country flight. And it's not a bad Sparty team. And while Indiana has been totally pantsing teams, they beat Illinois by, 55 points?
Yeah.
I think this might be too many points after a week of partying and feeling yourself. They could very well win this game by 3 scores. But I think Sparty stays inside the number. Too many points.
Tennessee, I was flirting with this one. Why did you go with Tennessee here?
This is going to be, usually I make these picks on vibes. I'm going to give you a real football reason. When we look back at week 1, granted, Alabama totally unprepared for Gus Malzahn, but what did FSU do well? Counters, misdirection. That's what Tennessee's running game does, folks. This plays into a weakness of Alabama's. I don't think Alabama is that good. And look, I've been using that argument for the last couple of weeks. Took Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was the right side. Sometimes you lose bets when you bet the right side. Last week, Mizzou should have won that game straight up. Pibula is a terrible quarterback. I hate that guy. That guy is just a chicken at the quarterback position. They covered the 3.5. All right, the back door was left wide open over there. I think this line is right on the money. I will take the points gladly. Would not surprise me in the very least if Tennessee wins this game straight up. They do things well that Alabama has shown you they struggle with. And I'm really curious as to what's happened with Ryan Williams. That one's just bizarre.
Yeah, and the reason I didn't pick this pick ultimately, I hear what you're saying. I agree on when Tennessee's on offense. My concern is Tennessee's defensive backfield depleted. Obviously, Jacoby Thomas would have been one of their best players. He's on the Miami Hurricanes. They got some injuries at corner. Going against an Alabama passing game, which I've been critical of Alabama, but their passing game is legit, even with Ryan Williams not busting out. And he can do that too. So I didn't love the health of Tennessee secondary against Alabama's passing game, but I think you're right in what you're saying about Tennessee's offense. Alabama's got some weaknesses on defense, so could be a high scoring game. There may be the overs to play, but I was thinking about that Tennessee plus 8.5, and you're on fire. Who am I to argue? Last pick before we get out of here, Arkansas plus 7.5 against Texas A&M. I love Texas A&M. They are, to me, the best team in the SEC, top to bottom, but that's a lot of points, man. Arkansas can score. Texas A&M.
They're fighting for Petrino.
They're fighting for Petrino. They got a very big athletic player at quarterback who he struggled against Notre Dame. Notre Dame came blew him out of the water, but which is why I think this spread is big, because you're saying, all right, Texas A&M similar to Notre Dame in a lot of ways, but I think they keep it close. I think Petrino gets this thing done. They're way past all the upheaval with Pittman. Too many points for a Texas A&M team that to me is not like built to blow teams out necessarily, although they did handle a very poor Florida team. So I got Arkansas plus 7.5, trying to catch up on you, Mike, because you are on fire to start the year. Boys, thank you for stopping by.
You're not going to like my Louisville-Miami prediction when that graphic comes out.
We should probably put you ahead of Trenton Breeze because you've been so accurate with your picks. I think just your picking acumen alone puts you ahead of young Trenton. What do you think?
Well, let's see how this one, how people react to this one.
I think Tristan should be at
Yeah,
the top of the
he's
list.
A1. I would like a new photo on that graphic. That was about 45 pounds ago.
Yeah, and I was gonna say the photo got changed without my asking or request from.
You can go ahead and change my photo without asking.
Camden Burton doing a little too much tinkering over there, but we appreciate his hard work.
Yeah, he was a little early on. What's your prediction for the Louisville game? I'm like,
I got it the Monday.
I think Miami goes 1-0 against the Bi-Cal.
Thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe to this show. Go Canes.
Go Canes!
Listo.